Welcome to yoga class. If you're watching this live, which we're doing this now, so you are, it's Friday. Happy Friday. I'm glad you made it through the week. And if you're watching this later, happy whatever day it is for you in the future. We're going to jump right in today, coming into our meditation. So coming into a comfortable cross-legged position, either ankles crossed, Sukhasana, or you can bring heel to pelvis, heel to front of ankle, Siddhasana. If you're more comfortable coming into a reclined position on the back, you may do so. Please keep the feet planted on the floor, knees up to the sky, just so we bring an alertness and awareness to the body. And we'll start to tap into our breathing, inhaling through the nose, down into the belly. Pulling the belly button back towards the spine on the exhale. Now that we've got this nice rhythm with breath, the body understands what we're doing. Let's turn our attention to our body, doing a body scan. Maybe checking in with the skin of the face, softening the forehead, releasing the jaw. Moving down towards the chest, the heart space, the shoulders. Allowing the shoulders to soften on the exhale. Shoulder blades start to melt down the back. Bringing awareness to our abdomen, the way the belly and the ribs expand on the inhale. And soften and support the spine on the exhale. Descending down the body, we begin to become aware of our sits bones, our tail, reaching down towards the earth, making connection with the mat. Way the spine lifts out of the pelvis space as we root down through the sits bones. Maybe you become aware of the way the hands and fingers feel. Maybe moving them into a different position or taking some sort of mudra. The feet are active but relaxed. sitting right under the knees or just below the knees, supporting our seated position. Let's take 3 more full breath cycles here. So full inhales, full exhales, extending the exhales longer than your inhales. And after your last exhale, we'll gently open the eyes and start to crawl ourselves forward, bending at the hips. So if you want to move the fleshy part of the glute off to the side, just to make your positioning more successful. We inhale and start to bring the belly towards this bowl space right in front of the pelvis, reaching the chest out in front of us. If you want to stay here and this is enough for you, that's great. Otherwise, maybe we walk the hands out further in space, maybe dropping the forearms down to the earth. Take one more breath, and maybe we start to bow the crown of the head down towards the ground. Continuing to breathe into the belly, we feel the skin of the low back expand on the inhales. Hips are rooted and soften on the exhale. Maybe your breathing has allowed more space in your spine, and you're able to extend the arms out a little further. Maybe dropping the crown and forehead a little closer to the earth. We're here for 2 more breath cycles, really emptying the lungs on the exhale, drawing the belly button all the way back to the spine. We stay for the next inhale, and then our exhale fuels our movement as we start to crawl ourselves back up into a seated position. Arms come out to the sides, hands at the hips. On the inhale, arms are coming up overhead, biceps by the ears. We look up at our palms, maybe they kiss together. And on the exhale, we're dropping left hand behind us in space. Right hand is coming to the left knee as we find a seated twist, drawing the belly button towards the left thigh. Maybe you turn to look past your left shoulder. And we bring an awareness to that right shoulder, letting it soften and drop down away from the ear. Stay for your next inhale. Exhale rotates you back to center as arms come back out by the hips. Arms come up overhead on the inhale. Maybe palms kiss together. On the exhale, left hand drops to right knee, right hand drops behind us in space. If you need a little bit more intensity in your neck and shoulder, maybe you tilt the chin towards your midline, dropping the right ear towards the right shoulder. Stay for your inhale. Exhale draws you back through center. Left hand is coming palm face down next to the left hip. On our next inhale, right arm is coming up and over, reaching towards the left side of the mat. Inhale, exhale, belly button draws back towards the spine, engaging the core as we move ourselves through center. Right hand drops palm facing down as left arm comes up on the inhale, over towards the right side. Exhale moves you through center as we take it again, over to the left. Neck stays nice and straight and neutral. Exhale through center, over to the right. Exhale through center, over to the left. Right arm reaches. This time, we stay for the inhale. Instead of coming up through the midline, we're going to swing the right arm out in front of us, creating this half circle with the arm until the right arm comes over to the right hip and left arm swings around, extending over to the right. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, left arm swings through center. Right arm to follow. As right arm reaches over to the right, bicep right by the ear. Exhale, swings you through center. Left arm comes to wrap around, bringing the left bicep by the left ear. Exhale through center. Go one more time on each side. Really trying to wrap the right shoulder blade around and down the back. Exhale through center, over to the right. Exhale, we bring ourselves back to the midline, sitting up Nice and tall. You can keep both hands, on the ground by the hips as we take a nice big inhale together. And a long exhale, dropping the shoulders down away from the ears. The right leg is going to come out in front of us or extended out. Left heel comes right to the midline, right in front of the pelvis. As we start to warm up the hamstrings. So we're active in both toes, reaching the toes either towards the ceiling or pulled back towards the spine. Both hips are rooted down to the ground. Right hand comes either to the inside of the right thigh, the outside of the right thigh, or we can bring right forearm and palm face down next to the right calf. And we inhale, left arm comes up and stay here if that's enough for you. Or we reach the right fingers all the way over to the right toes. Keeping the chest, belly button open to the midline. Neck stays straight and neutral, so we're not dumping into the neck and hanging the head. Bring it into the belly. Your next exhale helps you rise back up through the midline. So right now the right leg is at a slight angle. We're going to bring it directly out in front of us. So ankle is in line with the knee, knee is in line with the right hip. Left ankle is coming up on top of the right thigh, just above the knee. Now, just like we do when we're in a reclined position, if this is enough for you, we'll stay here. Otherwise, we sit up nice and tall, and on your exhale, with the hips rooted down into the ground, we reach towards the right toes. If all you can reach is the outside of the right calf, that's okay. If you can't reach your foot, or that's in your practice today, and you would like to play with dropping the crown towards the right knee, feel free to do so. We're here for one more breath cycle. And then stay for your next inhale. Exhale, belly button to spine as we start to roll back up to our seated position. From here, and you can put your hands on the mat to guide you if you need to. We're going to shift over onto the right hip, allowing the sole of the left foot to drop onto the mat. Toes are pointing out in front of us. We bend the right knee, drawing the right heel right underneath the left glute. As we sink both hips back down to the mat. Once we're here, we hook the right elbow crease around the left knee, pulling that knee towards the chest and shifting the belly button towards the left thigh, maybe looking behind us in space. Bringing awareness to any tension, tightness, limited range of motion in that left glute, the left IT band, maybe even the left knee. We stay for one more inhale. Exhale, we unravel back to center, gently using the hands to guide the left leg up and over, unraveling to repeat on the other side. So left leg comes out long at our angle. Right heel comes right to the midline, right at the pelvis. Left hand finds the placement that feels good for you today. Inside of the thigh, outside of the thigh, forearm down to the mat. Both toes, both feet, and all toes are active. And we pull the femur of the left leg back into the hip socket, so we're bending from the hips. Inhale, right arm comes up. Maybe over towards the left toes. Notice how this side feels different as we send the breath to the low back on the right side, the hamstring and groin on the left side. Exhale, belly button to spine draws you back through center. We bring the left leg in line with the hip. Ankle, knee, hip are all in line with each other as we guide the right ankle right on top of the left thigh, right above the knee. Stay here if this is enough for you. Maybe bringing a slight weight with the right hand into the inside thigh on the right side. Or we sit up nice and tall, tugging that left femur into socket, bending from the hip, maybe reaching towards our toes. One more inhale, and on the exhale, we'll gently roll ourselves back up to our seated position, shifting onto the left hip, the outside of the left hip, just for our transition, so we can drop the right sole down to the mat, toes pointing forward, and we draw the left foot's left heel right underneath the right glute. And then squaring off the hips, sinking both hips back down into the ground. We hook the right knee with the left elbow and reach the right arm behind us in space, drawing the knee towards our left shoulder or heart space, drawing the belly button towards the right thigh. We stay for one more inhale. Exhale draws us back through center, and we unravel. Bringing both legs first into a cross-legged position and then roll through onto all fours. I'll meet you there. Wrists right underneath the shoulders. Knees underneath the hips. We press into the fingertips of the hands. Gaze is straight down. We support the spine by being firm in the belly, drawing the belly button back in space. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Tail reaches up towards the sky. Exhale, we press into the tops of the feet, press into the fingertips as we round through, pulling the tailbone towards the belly button. Drop the crown. Here we go. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, round through. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, round through. We're really pressing into the fingertips, lifting out of the shoulder joints so we're not dumping weight. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, round through. One more round. Inhale, drop the belly. Maybe taking some neck rolls if that feels good. Exhale, wheel round through. Inhale brings us back to tabletop. We curl the toes under. Hands maybe walk out slightly in space towards the front of your mat. As we stay for the inhale, exhale, we drop the hips up high for downward facing dog. Pedal it out when you get there. Maybe your hamstrings and low back are extra tight this week. Sitting at a desk can do that. And we bring an awareness to the rest of our body. Belly is soft, but drawn up towards the spine. So belly's engaged. Shoulder blades are spread wide across the back. Biceps by the ears. Knees can be bent if the low back is sore, the hamstrings are tight. We're here for one more breath cycle. Stay for your inhale. Exhale fuels your movement as you make your way to the top of the mat. So you can get there by one big step, some little baby steps, maybe a crisscross walk, or if hopping's in your practice, that's okay too. We meet together in forward fold, Uttanasana. Maybe you clasp opposite elbows and gently sway side to side. Taking a moment to listen to what your body's asking for and respond accordingly. One more inhale. Exhale, root to rise. We start to roll our way up to mountain, Tadasana. Arms come with us up overhead. Palms kiss together and descend at the heart space. We're just going to do a few gentle flows today after our extended floor work. So here we go. Arms go down and come up on the inhale. Maybe you keep the palms together. Maybe you flip the palms externally and swan dive down into our forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale lifts you halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Palms come down to the mat, making your way to plank, Phalankhasana. Whether you step one foot back and then the other, or maybe a hop is in your practice, or a jump, excuse me. Exhale, lower down halfway, elbows are tight to the side body. Inhale, toes flip so the tops of the feet are on the mat. As we rise to cobra, or excuse me, upward facing dog, or if you want to do cobra, you can do that too. Exhale, moving from our center, we'll make our way into downward facing dog. Stay for your inhale. Exhale fuels your movement as we make our way back to the top of the mat, roots arise. Palms kiss together and descend at the heart space. Let's go for 5 more rounds on your own. Moving at your own pace, adding or omitting anything that does or does not fit into your practice today, which, as we know, could look different from yesterday. It could look different from tomorrow. I would encourage you to use every opportunity you have, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes so that we are turning our vision inward more from a place of feeling our way through the movement instead of seeing it. After your last round, we'll meet together in downward facing dog for 3 breath cycles. More inhale. Exhale, we gently drop the knees down onto the mat. Big toes come together, knees as wide as your yoga mat as we sink the hips back towards the heels, snuggling the belly right between the inner thighs. We start to melt chest and forehead down to the earth. Extended Balasana, child's pose. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. And on the exhale, imagine the spine reaching out through the tail and out through the crown. Energetically encouraging more space to be created. And the next exhale, hips stay right where they're at as we walk both hands off the left side of the mat. And again, melting the chest and forehead down to the earth. Option is always there to bring the right hand on top of the left. As we encourage more space in the lungs by stretching the intercostals. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, hips stay nice and heavy as we crawl ourselves nice and low over to the right side of the mat. Exhale draws us back through center, chest and forehead stays lifted as we press into the tops of the feet, bringing ourselves back to all fours, drawing the knees underneath the hips. We curl the toes under, staying for the inhale. Exhale, hips up high, downward facing dog. Take a moment to notice any new space you've created in the body, any areas that maybe are a little less rigid than before. Left foot comes to the midline. We inhale, lift the right leg up high. Exhale, right foot steps up between the hands. We find ourselves in lunge. We're light on the fingertips. You can always bring blocks here on the outside of the foot or a stack of books if you need a little bit of elevation. Other option, we always can drop the back foot if that is just a little too much for you today. And let's stay here for 3 breath cycles, letting the body really settle and soften into this position. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, we press firmly into that front foot as we lift the body up into high lunge and settle right into our position. Arms are extended up above the crown, biceps by the ears. Pelvis is tucked right underneath the heart space. So if that means you need to shorten up your stance, please do so. Exhale, left hand's coming to the outside of the right knee as the right arm reaches behind us in space, or option always to keep the right hand just on the hip. Exhale, both arms swing back up overhead as we square off to the front of the mat, back into high lunge. We stay for the inhale. Growing tall through the spine. Exhale, we pivot on the back foot, opening up to Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Looking out past our front fingers. Front heel and back arch are in line with each other. We're firm in our foundation. That which is touching the earth. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, back arm drops to the back leg. Front arm reaches up towards the ceiling or towards the back of the mat. Exhale, we make our way into extended side angle. So right forearm just on the top of the thigh, right hand down by the knee, or you can always take a bind underneath the leg. Left hand comes up to the ceiling or extends out towards the front of the mat. Stay for one more inhale. Exhale powers you right back up into peaceful warrior. Exhale, we spiral the hands, framing the right foot, pivoting on the back foot, and drawing the right foot back to meet the left. Hips are up high, downward facing dog. We stay for 2 breath cycles, allowing this release in the low back, maybe exhaling out through your mouth. One more. And the right foot comes to the midline. Inhale, left leg kicks up high. Stepping up in between the hands, we find ourselves in lunge. Left knee is above the left ankle. Shoulders are drawn down away from the ears, shoulder blades pinched together so that the chest is wide open, gaze is forward. Here we go. Inhale, exhale, powers you up. Arms come with you up high, and then we settle. We're spiking the back heel towards the back of the mat, or you can always be here with the knee lowered. Inhale to grow tall. Exhale, right hand to the outside of the left knee as we reach the left arm back in space. Or option always to keep the left hand on the hip. Inhale, exhale, spirals us back to our high lunge where we stay for the inhale. Exhale, we pivot on the back foot. Oh yeah, bringing release to that back leg. We find ourselves in warrior 2. Inhale to shift forward. Exhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, extended side angle, your version. Exhale, powers you back up, peaceful warrior. Exhale, fuels your movement, rotating back down to lunge. We draw the left foot back to meet the right. We're in plank. We stay for the inhale. Exhale, drop the knees. Oh yeah. We're coming back into our supine position. So however you want to get there is up to you. We can either cross the ankles, do our reverse roll, or you can swing the legs off to the side, coming onto the bum, then reclining onto the back. When you get there, knees come up to the chest, wrapping the fingers around the shins, interlacing, or you can grab each shin individually if that feels better for you. Or final option here, you can bring the hands right to the hamstrings, underneath the knees, and draw the knees up that way. Stay for one more inhale. Exhale, we gently drop both soles to the mat. Heel toe, the feet wider than the mat. Arches are parallel to the long edge of the mat. Toes are pointed forward. Arms come out wide at our sides. And on the exhale, we drop both knees over to the left side of the mat. We let gravity work for us in the left leg as we actively try to root down through the right leg. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, belly button draws back to spine, so we're protecting the low back as we bring the knees up through center and over to the other side. One more inhale. Exhale draws you up to center. We heel toe, the feet back in line with the hips. Sending one leg out long and then the other. Arms can stay wide or bringing them right next to the hips. I know many of you need to get back to your work day, but if you can take a full Shavasana today, that's wonderful. If you can take 2 minutes of a Shavasana today, also wonderful. And if you don't have time for it today, that's okay. I would encourage you to make time for it later. Let's take one more breath cycle together. Deep inhale through the nose. Long exhale through the mouth or nose. As always, thank you for practicing with me today. Thank yourselves for showing up. I know that that is a very difficult thing to do. Sometimes the hardest thing that we do, showing up for ourselves. So I'm proud of you, and I will see you next time.